Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 17, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth. So we were reading about Gopal Chapal and Shrivas Thakur. Shrivase karele tui bhavani pujana koti janma have tor rorave patan. So Chapal Gopal, he contracted leprosy and then he was suffering tremendously. And then when he saw Mahaprabhu, he paid obeisances, he asked for his mercy, and this is what Mahaprabhu is telling him. You have made Shrivas Thakur appear to have been worshipping the goddess Bhavani. Simply for this offense, you will have to fall down into hellish life for 10 million births, not even 10 million years, 10 million births per birth. There are many tantric followers who, wishing to eat meat and drink wine, practice the black art of worshipping the goddess Bhavani in a crematorium. Such fools also consider this Bhavani Puja to be as good as worship of Lord Krishna in devotional service. But such abominable tantric activities performed by so-called swamis and yogis are herein condemned by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He declares that such Bhavani Puja for drinking wine and eating meat quickly plunges one into hellish life. The method of worship itself is already hellish, and its results must also be hellish and nothing more. So those who perform or practice this black art of worshipping the goddess Bhavani in her form as Kali, the method of worship is hellish and the result is also hellish. But in the process, they sometimes they make the people suffer. People can do this black art, black magic. And sometimes it's not just worshippers of Kali, it's they worship something else. But they do this black art. It's very, very terrible thing. Of course, if we are worshipping Krishna, we can expect some protection. To what extent, that's up to Krishna to decide. But these black magic people are very, very terrible. But one thing they don't understand, even if they're doing it for some client of theirs, they don't understand this method of worship is hellish. And the results must also be hellish and nothing more. Now somebody might say, well, why Krishna has created this black magic? Well, Krishna has also created poison, serpents and scorpions and so many other things. But that doesn't mean we misuse those things. Many rascals say that whatever way one accepts, one will ultimately reach Brahman. Yato mat tato pat. Yet we can see from this verse how such persons reach Brahman. Brahman spreads everywhere, but appreciation of Brahman in different objects leads to different results. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tanstathavi vajamyaham. I reward everyone according to his surrender unto me. Mayavadis certainly realize Brahman in certain aspects, but realization of Brahman in aspects of wine, women, and meat is not the same realization of Brahman that devotees achieve by chanting, dancing, and eating prasadam. So this is where Mayavadi is. They say everything is Krishna, everything is God, or everything is Brahman. Brahman. So we are also Brahm, you are also Brahm, and then they also say that the whole universe is made of these three threads. Threads means the modes of nature: ignorance, passion, and goodness. So everything is made of this. There is nothing beyond this and this and that. Well, soul is not made of modes of nature. Super soul is not made of modes of nature. And even if everything is made of modes of nature, the consciousness of the soul is affected differently. Every soul is on a different level of consciousness. So we have to treat everybody differently in that respect. We cannot say a scorpion's body is made of three modes of nature. So it's as dear to me as Krishna. Then just bring scorpion home or put him on your body and then we'll see how dear he is. But this is where Mayavadis, their understanding is not correct. And as Prabhupada says, the Brahman is also in wine, women, and meat. But we are supposed to stay away from all this. So stay away from this Brahman and go to the other Brahman, chanting, dancing, and eating prasada. Mayavadi philosophers, being educated in paltry knowledge, think all sorts of Brahman realization, one and the same, and do not consider varieties. But although Krishna is everywhere, by his inconceivable potency, he is simultaneously not everywhere. So simultaneously, he is not everywhere means personally, he as Shyam Sundar Krishna. He is not everywhere, his energy is everywhere. Everything is his energy, nothing is beyond him. Thus, the Brahman realization of the Tantric cult is not the same Brahman realization as that of pure devotees. So unless one reaches the highest point of Brahman realization, Krishna consciousness, he is punishable. Punishable means then he has to take birth again and again. All people except Krishna conscious devotees are to some proportion Pashandis or demons, and thus they are punishable by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead as stated below. Now, this might offend some people when Prabhupada says all people except Krishna conscious devotees are to some proportion Pashandis or demons. Well, this is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, the 16th chapter, divine and demonic natures. There are only two kinds of people, divine or demoniac. Divine means devotees. Now we can say, oh, where do we fit in? Well, we are trying to be devotees. We are struggling to be devotees. So we have both divine and demonic tendencies inside us. What is a demonic tendency? It is to enjoy our senses. Simple as that. To gratify our senses, that is demonic program. To gratify Krishna's senses is devotees program. Now it's up to us. We have to see how much demonic tendencies we have and how much devotion tendencies we have. Pashandi samarite morai avatar, Pashandi samhari bhakti karimu prachar. I have appeared in this incarnation to kill the demons, Pashandis, and after killing them, to preach the cult of devotional service. Lord Chaitanya's mission is the same as that of Lord Krishna, which he states in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya and paritranaya sadhana. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of birth and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself in order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion I advent myself, millennium after millennium. So, as explained here, the real purpose of an incarnation of Godhead is to kill the atheists and maintain the devotees. He does not say, like so many rascal incarnations, that atheists and devotees are on the same platform. So, why he has to kill the atheists and protect the devotees, or maintain the devotees? Why God makes such distinctions? People say, oh, God should be same for everybody. No, if he is same for everybody, then why he has created hell and heaven? He's same for everybody in the sense, he says everybody is my part and parcel. But based on their consciousness, they either enjoy or suffer. And then based on the consciousness, they will do the activities and then they get the karmic reactions. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Shri Krishna, the real personality of God, does not advocate such an idea. Atheists are punishable, whereas devotees are to be protected. Now, this also does not mean, first of all, that we are supposed to go and punish the atheists. That's not in our jurisdiction. Secondly, they're not going to go in hell or get punished eternally, forever. They'll be put in hell. No, there's no such thing. The whole material world is not eternal. So how can the hell be eternal? And how can somebody living in hell be eternal? Not going to happen. It's not so. Krishna is very merciful. Just like a father, even if the son commits some mistake, it doesn't mean father is going to just throw him in prison forever. No. Father punishes the child for his rectification, not out of some envy or just punish him forever, eternally. No such thing. Father wants to rectify his child. So similarly, Krishna also wants to rectify the living entities. Living entities or their consciousness, he wants to rectify. So Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave protection to devotees and killed many demons in the course of his preaching work. He specifically mentioned that the Mayavadi philosophers are the greatest demons. But Prabhupada said he killed many demons, but there is no mention of him killing like Krishna killed. That Mahaprabhu did not kill anybody physically. He killed the demoniac consciousness, made them devotees. That is the program of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only one time he asked Sudarshan Chakra to come, or two times. So one was when Jagai Madhai had hit Nityanand Prabhu and made Nityanand Prabhu bleed. Mahaprabhu was so angry. He called his Sudarshan. He wanted to kill them. And Nityanand Prabhu fell down at his feet. No. In this incarnation, you are not going to kill anybody. He promised. Send your Sudarshan back and be merciful on these two offenders. And second time was when Haridas Thakur was being beaten up in 22 marketplaces. He came there in invisible form and he brought his Sudarshan Chakra with him. He wanted to kill those soldiers right away. But Haridas Thakur kept on forgiving those soldiers. So Sudarshan could not leave the hand of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu did not kill anybody. He killed the demoniac consciousness. So this is why he is called most munificent incarnation. Not just killed the demoniac consciousness. He gave them Krishna Prema, the topmost destination of the spiritual world, to the most fallen people of Kali Yuga. Can we even imagine what kind of mercy this is? To the most fallen people of the creation, of all the four yugas, he gives them the topmost destination. Who could be more merciful than him? But here he is very angry at Chapal Gopal because he committed an offense against his devotee, Srinivas Thakur. He specifically mentioned that the Mayavadi philosophers are the greatest demons. Therefore, he wanted all others not to hear the Mayavad philosophy. Mayavadi bhasha shunila hai sarvam. Simply by hearing the Mayavad interpretation of the Shastras, one is doomed. Ete bali gela prabhu karite ganga snana sei papi dukha bhoge naya paran. After saying this, the Lord left to take his bath in the Ganges, and that sinful man did not give up his life but continued to suffer. It appears that an offender to a Vaishnava continues to suffer and does not give up his life. We have actually seen that a great Vaishnava Aparadhi continuously suffered so much that it was difficult for him to move, and yet he did not die. I don't know who Prabhupada is talking about. Sannyasa kariya yabe Prabhu nila chale gela tatha haite yabe kuliya grame aila tabe sahi papi Prabhu laila sharana hitu upadesha kaila hayya karuna. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after accepting the renounced order of life, went to Jagannath Puri and then came back to the village of Kulia, upon his return, the Kulia village is actually Navadvip. His earlier name is Kulia. Upon his return, that sinful man took shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord, being merciful to him, gave him instructions for his benefit. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his Anubhashya has given the following note in connection with the village Kulia. The village originally known as Kulia has developed into what is now the city of Navadvip. In various authorized books like the Bhakti Ratnakar, Chaitanya Charita Mahakavya, Chaitanya Chandroday Natak, and Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is mentioned that the village of Kulia is on the western side of the Ganges. Even now, within the area known as Koladweep, there is a place known as Kuliyara Ganja and a place called Kuliyara Daha, both within the jurisdiction of the present municipality of Navadvip. In the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the two villages on the western side of the Ganges, named Kulia and Paharpura, both belong to the jurisdiction of Bahirapdweep. At that time, the place on the eastern side of Ganges, now known as Antardweep, was known as Navadvip. At Shimayapur, that place is still known as Dvipera Matha. There is another place of the name Kulia near Kanchanapada, but it is not the same Kulia mentioned here. It cannot be accepted as Aparad Bhanjanera Pada, or the place where the offense was excused, for that occurred in the above-mentioned Kulia on the western side of the Ganges. For business reasons, many envious persons oppose excavation of the real place, and sometimes they advertise unauthorized places as authorized. So Prabhupada says, because of enviousness, people don't want the real places to be mentioned. So actually what has happened, this eastern side and western side, when Mahaprabhu was there, the Ganges flew in a particular path. So sometime later, it changed course. The Ganges changed course. So some villages which were earlier on the eastern side of Ganges, they became on the western side. Because Ganges changed course, and now it's up to Ganga Mata what to do. So whatever says in the scriptures, then okay, on the western side or eastern side, then it became confusing. But Acharyas like Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, they excavated, especially Bhakti Vinod Thakur, excavated the or um, found the real place of Yoga Peeth. Yoga Peeth is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. So after Mahaprabhu left, unmanifested his pastimes, and Ganges changed its course, the real Yogpit was lost. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur, because he was a judge and he had some government powers, so he read the scriptures, found some maps in the government records, and then he came to this place, and that place was actually a big tila, and there was lots of tulsi growing over there. So he, according to all these surveys and everything, he said, this is the real Yoga Peeth. So many Vaishnavas, they were not ready to accept, because again, the Ganges had changed the course. So it was supposed to be on the western side, now it's on the eastern side, something like that. So there was still confusion. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. He said, he is the authority, he is the senior most Vaishnava, and let's see what he says. And Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, he was very old. He couldn't even open his eyes. Somebody had to really lift his eyelids so he could see. And his servant, I'm forgetting the name of the servant, he had to carry Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj on a basket on his head because he could not walk. So in that condition, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was asked to come over there. So he used to live in Vrindavan, but he used to travel with him, Vrindavan. Although in that condition, and his servant was really serving him properly. So he came, and as soon as he came to the place of Yoga Peeth, he jumped from the basket which his servant was carrying. And he jumped from the basket on the ground, and he raised his hands and he started dancing. That this is the real Yoga Peeth. Yes, this is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So after he confirmed, then everybody agreed. So but same thing about Kulia, and as Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj said, this is now the city of Navadvip. Then it becomes authenticated. So many things go on. Okay, so Prabhupada says, so Kulia is this. Shrivas Panditera Sthane Ache Apara Tatha Yaha Teno Yadi Karena Prasad Tabe Tora Habe Papa Vimochana Yadi Puna Aiche Nahi Kara Acharan. You have committed an offense at the lotus feet of Srivas Thakur, the Lord said. First, you must go there and beg for his mercy, and then if he gives you his blessings, and you do not commit such sins again, you will be freed from these reactions. So this is the medicine, or but this is the way we can absolve ourselves of if we have committed an offense against a Vaishnava. Even God, even Mahaprabhu did not forgive him. He said, you have to go. But just like in the story of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Rishi, we studied in Bharat. And Durvasa Muni went all over the universe, went to Shivji, went to Brahma, and went to Vishnu himself. But Sudarshan wasn't letting him go anywhere. And I mean, Sudarshan was always following him. And then Lord Vishnu had to tell him, you go back and beg forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj. If he forgives you, then you will be saved. तबे विप्र लैलासि श्रीवास शरः ताहर kripaye haila papa vimucha. Then the Brahman Gopal Chapal went to Srivas Thakur and took shelter of his lotus feet. And by Srivas Thakur's mercy, he was freed from all sinful reactions. And Srivas Thakur, he was so merciful. This is the beauty of some place it is said, they forgive the offenders before the offenders has even committed the offense. Forget about them asking for forgiveness. So the Vaishnavas can forgive, but the Lord doesn't forgive. That is it. Aare ek vipraila kirtan dekhite, dware ka patana paila. Okay, this will take it up tomorrow because it's a different vipra, different Brahman. So then he was freed from all sinful reactions when he took shelter of the lotus feet of Srivas Thakur and begged for his mercy. Then we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, regarding tantrics, Prabhuji, nowadays on YouTube, on very famous channels, few tantrics are propagating their teachings. So, Prabhuji, they take sattvic way of worshipping. I mean, their deity is tamasic, but like they do japa and like japa of some Kal Bhairav or some Devi form.
Yeah, but worship of Kal Bhairav is not in the mode of goodness. So whatever Puran they refer to, it's in the mode of ignorance. Like 6 Puranas are in ignorance, 6 in passion, 6 in goodness. So it's up to us. What do we want to do?
And probably they say that they are doing it for moksha.
How can it be moksha? Okay, I have to check, but I don't. Because Kal Bhairav cannot give moksha.
Okay. Probably I'll send you.
Okay, please send me the link and we'll see. Only Krishna can, even Shivji cannot give moksha. So how can Kal Bhairav give moksha? Yes, Vinay Prabhu, you have a question or a comment?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, at the beginning of the class, I was talking about Padma Puran. वहाँ पे प्रभु जी 2 श्लोक आता है। एक में उसका वो तात्पर्य लिखा है कि जो इन अव्यक्त विष्णु तथा भगवान महेश्वर को एक भाव से देखते हैं, उनका पुनः इस संसार में जन्म नहीं होता। एंड जस्ट बिलो दैट एक और श्लोक है जिसमें कहते हैं कि अतः महर्षियों आप आदि अंत से रहे अविनाशी परमात्मा विष्णु तथा महादेव जी को एक भाव से देखें तथा एक समझकर ही उनका पूजन करें। तो प्रभु जी, you want to say something on these 2 shlokas?
I don't know in what context they are said. You have to send me some link to study.
तो एक्चुअली क्या हो रहा है प्रभु जी, यहाँ पे ना पूज्य जी महाराज से सारे महर्षि गण इकट्ठा हुए हैं और वो अलग अलग तीर्थ स्थानों का, देखो पद्म पुराण में बहुत सारे तीर्थ स्थानों का उल्लेख है और वहाँ का मतलब क्या बेनिफिट, क्या क्वालिटीज है वहाँ, जैसे पुष्कर के बारे में बताया, फिर गया के बारे में बताया कि वहाँ जाने से कितने पुण्य मिलते हैं वो सारे। तो महर्षियों को उनकी महाराज बता रहे हैं कि देखो ये ऐसी ऐसी चीजें हो रही है, यहाँ जाने से ये फल मिलता है, ये फल। और उसके बाद हरि के बारे में, कि हरि जी के बारे में बता रहे हैं कि उनका भजन कीर्तन, जो जैसे हम लोग जो कथा में कहते हैं कि भजन कीर्तन हियरिंग चैंटिंग ये सब करने से क्या फल मिलता है। तो जैसे इतना ज़्यादा आप हाइटेंड लेवल भक्ति में हो गए, ये भी आया है कि आपको वापस लौट के संसार में नहीं आना, बट उस लेवल की क्वालिटी डेवलप होनी चाहिए, वो भक्ति का वो चरम स्थान होना चाहिए, तभी आपको मिलेगा। और ये उसके बाद में ये लास्ट में आता है कि मतलब पैरेलल बताया कि विष्णु जी को और महादेव। इनफैक्ट रामचरितमानस में भी राम जी कहते हैं कि अगर शिव जी को नहीं भजते तो हम मुझे नहीं पाते। ये भी एक जगह श्लोक है, मैं अगर जीवन इन रामचरितमानस, तो क्या इनको शिव जी को परम वैष्णव मान के कभी भी ऐसा उल्लेख किया गया है कि आप एक ही समझो और एक भाव से देखो? इज इट दैट व्हाट यहाँ पे जैसे जो लिखा आ रहा है कि इसका मतलब यही है क्या?
ओके, एक बार मेरे को देखने दो, क्योंकि obviously he is Param Vaishnav and he is not an ordinary person. वो तो है ही नहीं, पक्का, ये तो बात पक्की है। बट एग्जैक्टली क्या लिखा है ये मेरे को देखना है।
मैं थोड़ी देर पोस्ट कर देता हूँ ग्रुप में, तो आप एक बार देखते हैं।
Sure. ठीक है, चलो, we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.